Okay, this is the first model you guys are going to be working with. That's a brainstem. And we're going to follow the handout that you have. You're going to take different aspects of the brainstem and identify some of the structures. The first thing on your handouts is look at the ventral anterior aspect. That's the ventral anterior aspect. Lateral aspect would be over on the side. Dorsal posterior is that one back here, dorsal or posterior. Medial is when we're going to open it and look on the inside. So we have medial on the right side and medial on the left side. Those are the different view that we're going to get off it. The first, the ventral anterior surface. We're coming up in here. There's those are your spinal nerves. So from here on down, that's a spinal cord. You move from here on up. That's your foramen magnum is going to be here. You're going up to the medulla. Those are your ventral roots of the spinal nerves. Back here would be the dorsal roots of the spinal nerves. Coming up in here, right when you get past the foramen magnum, you have the decussation, which is not on your handout, you can see it. But up here, that bulge that you see in the superior portion on the ventral medulla, that's a pyramid, number 20. Number 41 in here, if you can see the number, that's your hypoglossal nerve. That pink structure sticking out in here, what is it, 21, I think? That's inferior olive. It does shape like an olive. That long nerve coming up in here, that's going to curve around and come out, that's a spinal accessory. And in here, that's your glossopharyngeal nerve on the ventral surface. The dorsal surface, we're going to come back up. You have more structures on the ventral surface. We're going to come up to them later. On the dorsal surface here, we're coming up. We have fascicular gracilis and cuneatus in the cord. You get into the medulla and we go into the nuclei. You see those bulges in here. That's nucleus gracilis. There's nucleus cuneatus, gracilis, cuneatus. There's a sulcus intermedius between them. They can't put the number on the sulcus, so they put one digit on each side of the sulcus. Where the nuclei gracilis on left and right bifurcate, fork away, that's called the obex region. And then you see the depression in here, that's the floor of the fourth ventricle. Up here, cerebellum that got removed. That's the rhomboid fossa. The nerve going around like that, the nerves, if we go back to the side in here, in the pons, there's the abducens, 6. Then there's the 7th nerve, the facial. And there's the two divisions of 8, the vestibular and the cochlear divisions. Higher up in here is a trigeminal nerve. Coming from the back, like this, that's, remember, the nerve here goes to the back, then turns around and comes back forward again. That's a trochlear nerve. Higher up, there are the corpora quadrigemini, the superior colliculi, the inferior colliculi. You can see they're about the same size. In here, that's the ventral surface, the ventrolateral surface too, of the midbrain, the mesencephalon. That's the cerebral peduncle, crus cerebri. There's our pituitary dangling from the hypothalamus. Your optic nerve is coming in on either side, that white circle that you see. The nerve comes in and crosses. There's a chiasm. Once you enter, it becomes the optic tract. It's no longer the nerve anymore. What do we have? We've done those. Let's see. All right, moving on up. There's the oculomotor nerve coming out in the cisterna. The mammillary bodies are up here. That egg-shaped structure, that's a thalamus. There's your hypothalamic sulcus, or sulcus limitans, and below it, ventral, inferior to it, that region, that's a hypothalamus. This dark spot here, that's a massa intermedia, the midline nuclei of the thalamus. There are the colliculi, superior and inferior, the tectum. There's the tegmentum, cerebral peduncle in here. There's the aqueduct, the cerebral aqueduct in here, between them. This is a posterior commissure, pretectal commissure, the one we refer to when we talk about the pupillar light reflex. This is a tract, that pink thing, that's coming not from this structure. This structure back here, that's a pineal. This tract's actually not coming from the pineal, it's coming from here, habenular nuclei. There are actually two structures here. But this posterior pretectal commissure, That's the pineal back here. This tract coming from here, not from there. You can see it on this side, but in here you could probably see a little hole in here. There's a little hole. If you look at yours, you'll see it. That's the interventricular foramen of Monroe that goes from the depression in here, which is the third ventricle in the center between the two thalami. The foramen connect the third ventricle with the lateral ventricle, which is a depression that you see over on the side in here. This is the head of the caudate, but the lateral ventricle comes in here like this. So you connect between the lateral and the third ventricle through the interventricular foramen in here. Well, so we have this, the anterior commissure. Watch out, it's not anterior white commissure or gray commissure. Those are in spinal cord. Anterior commissure connects the olfactory regions on the right and the left of the hemispheres. This is the fornix, the body of the fornix, which starts in the hippocampus. You see it later. There's M is the mammillary bodies and the hypothalamus. K, we said, is a posterior commissure or pretectal commissure. And there's again your aqueduct, which is going to feed into the fourth ventricle, the rhomboid fossa there. If we follow the optic tract in here, we said optic nerve, chiasm, tract. The tract is it's not very clear in here, but the tract is going to feed into this region here. The number 49 says lateral geniculate. It's not really in here. For lateral geniculate, it's this region here. That's where the optic tracts are going to go. Back here's the pulvinar. This is the medial geniculate, which is receiving from the inferior colliculus, not from. It looks like it's continuous with the optic tract. It is not. It receives from here. You can see the brachium of the inferior colliculus going this way, going into it. And so we have this that you see here. This is the insula, or island of Ryle. It's a slab of cortex that goes inside the fissure, the lateral fissure. And I think that's about all the structures in here that we have. Oh, one more thing maybe. Okay. Capital D, that's the pons, the ventral surface of the pons. Again, trigeminal nerve. This is the middle cerebellar peduncle, massive peduncle in here. I think those are about all the major structures in here. That's it.